Now, this is like a two-part question, male and female. Who are your top 5 male basketball players and your top 5 female basketball players in Staten Island? Starting with the males first.
Again, I think that if you heard my response about who is my best player, it is very difficult to answer that.
Well,
I can go through many players and say my best. I'm being very honest with you now. I cannot name who is my best 5.
well, who is your top 5 that you would want to roll with or take on your team to go anywhere and play? Your top 5 players that you feel would get the job done.
Oh, are you talking about modern times? Are you talking about this? Are you talking about back in the day, this time, whatever?
Well, we're not going to talk about back in the day right now because obviously a lot of these people don't know the people from back in the day. So we're going to talk about right now, modern time.
There's
So
people, we see, again, I think that people are very sensitive, and I think that if I was to name 5, which I don't believe I can, they would get jealous and they would get angry. And even if they say they won't, they'd feel hurt inside.
But then-
if somebody was like really close, like for instance, Red Tripp. Red Tripp was a trip. He was a trip for me. I took Red in as a son. When someone told me there's this kid that you have to see. And it's very seldom that you can tell me about somebody I have to see. Because I've been in basketball for such a long time, you got to be seasoned for me to come.
We're watching now.
And when they told me about this kid, Red Tripp, I seen him, and I thought he was seasoned earlier. However, when you go into a system seasoned, you might adapt to the bad. You see, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you might get caught up in that whole ugly side of the game, okay? Where you become other than what you were. And nobody expects nobody to stay the same, because most people don't stay the same. There has been, I like the type of basketball player I like the gorilla type basketball. One that makes the whole backboard shake. One that goes up, not caring whether it's gonna get blocked or not, and throw it in on somebody. And contrary to what one might believe, I don't like talkers. Now, I was a trash talker before, but I don't like anybody that's playing for me to talk trash, because now they've personalized the game and they're not going to act like a team. It's become personal. So they're talking trash, and the rest of my players is trying to get together to win this game. As far as my females, again, you have to be very careful when you deal with females, because if you word it wrong, everybody say you're doing this, you're doing that. You know, personally, I don't give a damn. Because if I have a girl that I'm talking to, why should I say to a girl, oh, move your butt down the court because she's a girl? Move your ass down the court. You know? And I just don't think that it's, for me, it's not like, you should separate them. They should be treated the same way that boys are. Keeping in mind, they're not boys. So I've had quite a few players that have thrilled me. I like I said, it's very difficult for you to do something and it pleases me. If you remember, there was a movie called Players Club. And I liked the line in Players Club where the guy sat in the back of the seat and he called his man and he said, do something to make me feel better. And the dude goes out and blows up the whole club. Well, see, I sit in basketball and I look for somebody that's going to make me feel better. I need a jolt because the game might be boring. And I've had girls to do that. And that's why it's multifaceted. There's a lot of girls, a lot of people that does this for me, that do this for me. That's why I'm so grateful about working this program.
Why was everyone trying to play on the Rising Stars this summer?
Well, again, whenever you have some power, like I'm teaching the kids in my camp about a thing called an aura that surrounds you. When you have an aura and you have peace within, you move like a tight fist. And people automatically gravitate to this type of behavior, this aura that you're walking with. And guys on my team, they were selected for various reasons. And they had this aura about them, only because I had this aura about me. Now, some people would say that's an aura of, how would you say, animosity, there's another word that I just can't quite think of it right now. But there's, just some things that people just don't like. In other words, you look at somebody and say, who do you think you are? Or they looked at my team and said, well, who do they think they are? And what it created was everybody to try and get a team that would match up against us, okay? Us not thinking we were Superman, because it's obvious that we're not. We had to lose to prove that. It's just the thing that we have around them. And incidentally, just ever since December of last year, December of '09, okay, they've been calling these kids at school, trying to get them to play on their teams. I never called my kids once. They would call me to ask me how I was doing. And one kid was insulted when someone had called him and says, Eddie Watkins told me that he's not letting you play this year. So the kid called me immediately and said, Ed, you're not going to play me, not letting me play with you? And he said, what's I said, listen, I'd have to be crazy not to put you on my team or have you on my team, and do not believe in anybody but me. Because there are haters, there are people that will call up and say things, just like all the haters that's going to see this. They're going to get their chops up and they're going to be gunning, oh, I'm going to put back on that he's this and he's that. Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Haters. I have a life to live now, and I'm getting up there in age. If I was to sit and worry about everybody that disliked me for whatever reason, again, look at longevity. You can't be a child molester. You can't be a dope dealer. You see, all these things I was accused of because they wanted me out the way. They've tried everything. And what I'm saying is the government, the people in power, and even some of the kids that I have, or that I've already had. Now, there was, for example, there's a kid that reached out to one of my girls, and this is very modern, and she's like, why are you there with Eddie Watkins? And all the time, she longed to be here with Eddie Watkins. So therefore, I'm going to have animosity. All right? Also, with that, there was a kid on the other side of the island, and he felt the rising stars. Because you just don't get basketball out of the rising stars. You become family, like you get attached to each other. This kid felt that, and he wanted to come over to Cromwell Center here on the North Shore when he lived on the South Shore. His mother did not want him to come. And being uncontrollable to his parents, he cursed his mother and said, I'm going, and I'm going to take the bus. So the parent went crazy, because if he takes the bus, he has to go through Park Hill, through Stapleton, and all that to get to Cromwell. So she agreed to drive him. Now she came up with the idea is, how do we get to close Eddie Watkins down? Because if you close Eddie down, they won't have no place to go. They're not going to want to come over here. They're not going to trust anybody else. And there's one thing about kids. They feel and they know the truth. And they feel and know the truth with their hearts and not their head. Because I've never recruited a kid in my life. Kids automatically came. And they came because of what they felt from other kids that have been.